Hello. Oh, yeah, this is going to be recorded. This is definitely recording. I think I'm live. Let's see. I don't know. Okay. If anyone's coming here from YouTube, apparently I don't know what's going on. This is annoying. Okay. I don't know what's going on here. Let's see. Yeah, looks like what's on today's menu. Thank you. Thanksgiving. I don't want to miss this. Yeah, I know it's Thanksgiving in the U.S. So I don't blame you if you don't want to be hanging out here. If it was Kevin, I would blame you. I'd blame him 100%. Okay, it does look like I am live now on YouTube. Thank you for dealing with my technical crap. But for whatever reason, I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know. Okay. Who's that? Graph and Web. Hi, Graph and Web. How is it going? I don't know if anyone's here from YouTube or not. For whatever reason, my restream is not being very helpful. So I got to figure that out. So I apologize for the rambling crap. Chat's not coming in from restream, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of that. All right, cool. We are live on YouTube. If you are on YouTube, my friends, please come find me at Ryan Wilcher Codes on Twitch if you want to come hang out in the chat. Otherwise, you can just have a look at what we're doing. Today, what we're doing is I was going to look at some block deprecations. I'm pretty sure I've done this before, but I think this is a good thing to kind of go over again. Block deprecations can be really complicated. They can get messy. We can have a lot of them, you know. So JTow128, you are welcome for streaming this. Yeah, cool. So a deprecation is basically, we have to tell, how can I explain this better? So Gutenberg, with the block editor, when you have a change in your block, specifically in the output of the save property. So I'm going to, let's spin one up here. Let's get one going on here. CD. Ooh, yeah, sure. Let's do. Okay, so I'm going to go np. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go npx WordPress block. There we go. I'm just going to create a new block. I'm going to call this deprecations. I don't think I have one called deprecation. I don't. So we're going to do that. Let me plug it. So this is just going to scaffold out a block for me. Anyways, so what we want to do is when we have a save property in our block, we're going to it's going to return markup, and that markup gets saved to the database. And then if there's a change in that markup and you've already got a block that's been saved, sometimes the block editor doesn't know how to these are C changes and accept deny. Yeah, I think that's Kev. It's awkward the way it's done, but anyways, what happens is when you have a save, when you have something that gets saved, then it changes in the file, the save.js, what's returned by that function. Gutenberg doesn't always know how to make those changes, and that's where deprecations come in. Now, sometimes if it's simple stuff, it can figure it out, but most times you're going to have to do what we like to call a deprecation. So let's look at this. So we have this block. Oops. We have this block in here. Our source is very straightforward. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna cd deprecations npm start, just so the build is happening while it's happening. So if we look in here, it's a very, very, very simple block. Our save just returns a p tag with some static content. So if we jump over to our, jump over to here, just wait till that. What's up, man? There's a whole bunch of hurry up and wait today. Sorry, folks. Sorry, I'm gonna keep repeating myself. Plugins, my plugins. We got and deactivate my previous plugin and look for deprecations. I'm gonna go over here and go into a better theme. We're gonna activate 2024. Okay, post. I'll post. So we're gonna go add new post. This is gonna be deprecations. All right. A lot of setup. So the block that I just created is called deprecations. So here we go. So when I save this, what happens is the result, what's returned from the save function, which is in here, gets saved to the database, and it gets saved to the database and it looks something, looks a little something like this, right? So we've got our comments that delineate where the block starts and where the block ends. Then we've got the markup that is returned by that, right? And so that's how that gets saved inside the database. That's not really how it gets rendered. It gets rendered a little bit differently. I mean, it doesn't get rendered too much differently, but it gets wrapped inside of some things, and that's basically the output of it is right there. You can see that. Let me zoom in a little better. So that's basically the same output as what has been here, right? So great, awesome. Well, what happens if we come in here now and we say, oh, you know what? This is going to actually be we're gonna wrap this in a div, and then we're going to actually make this an H1 or an H2, right? We're gonna have to wrap our thing in here, right? And then we want to make this get wrapped in that, and then we're going to delete this. But let's say we also maybe wanted to have like a span tag in here. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to make this sort of as much as possible, right? So if I make this change to the block itself, I've rebuilt. Now, if I come back over to here and I refresh this page, you get this error. And this is basically Gutenberg or the block editor saying what is happening here. I don't understand what's saved and what's being returned from that save function don't match, and I don't know how to manage that. So the error is right here. It says block validation failed. Generated content by the save looks like this, which is all that stuff that we've just created, right? And then the content retrieved from the post body looks like that. So this is the point in which we need to introduce. You can do two things here. We can say attempt block recovery, right? And that's going to be smart enough to figure that out. Or we can not do that, and we can try to introduce a deprecation. Kevin, are there issues open to improve that messaging? You know what? Probably not. But I would love to pick up that torch and run with it. I've been thinking for a while about this just experience from a developer. Like the developer experience here is not great. This is not a very helpful error. You know why? Kevin has allowed me. This should probably be surfaced in here somewhere. Like it would be nice to have sort of like, so, you know, I guess if you're a developer, you're used to going to the console, but it would be good to have better error, or at least be able to say wrap your block in your own error management. That would be very cool. Anyhow, so let's look at how we could deprecate, how we could fix this as a deprecation. So let's look over, so the documentation for deprecations right here. We're gonna take a look. And basically, what we're gonna want to do is there's a deprecated property. No, not a single person can read that. I'm sorry. So there's a deprecated property in our register block type, right? And it takes an array, and it takes an array of states, right? Oh yeah. That would be cool. So we just want kind of a basic. There we go. So we're gonna come into our block over here in the index, and there is a deprecated here, right? And it's going to be an array. Now it's going to be an array of objects. So what I like to do is create a separate file to manage these things, because they quickly can get out of control, right? So I'm going to say const version 1, right? And I'm going to export default. I'm going to actually make it an object, and I'm going to say v1. No, I'm going to make an array. I'm sorry. Can I do that? Can I do that? And then in here, I'm going to import deprecated. I'm going to spread the I can just probably do it this way, I'd imagine. I think that syntax will work. Right, so the idea being that like I have this array, every time I add a new one of these, to v3, I can just add it to this array, v2, v3, like that, right? And so it'll get all the deprecations. I actually don't know what this is going to do. Empty bunch of deprecations. Ooh, I broke something. Cannot find module deprecated because it's. I think I have to actually put the name of the file, don't I? Deprecations. Let's try that. Naming things is a thing. Okay, so that's actually okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to introduce a deprecation for each version of this block that we create. Oh, did someone just follow me and I didn't see that there? Oh, I didn't hear that. That's weird. Hold on. Kevin! Well, that worked. Anyway, if I just missed a follow or something, thank you. Sorry. That's weird. I don't know. I saw something pop up there. Maybe it was something else. Anyways, doesn't matter. Cool. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to write a deprecation. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So basically the deprecations look like it's going to have all of the properties that the block currently has, right? But then we want to tell it the things that have changed. So in our particular state, we're probably going to want to grab the old version of the save.js, right? And if we just undo all of this, which is kind of a silly way of doing it, we could probably just grab this whole thing and redo it all again. Did I put a span in there? Okay, we'll do that. In our deprecation, so we're in v1, we're going to put it where there's going to be a save property, and it'll just right. So hopefully this will just work. I haven't done deprecations in a while. Ooh, I broke something. What the hell did I break there? Use block props not defined. Do I need that? I need these block. Oh, come on. Props. Oh, maybe I don't need it to add that. Okay, I don't think I need to add that. So we're gonna do this. Let's see what that does. There we go. So that fixed it. The reason it fixed it is because the block editor was able to look through all of the list of deprecations and find one that matched what the old content was, and now it can map that to the new content, the new return values, right? So that's kind of it. That's kind of the basis of it. But so it's markup related. I think it also has to do with attributes. So if we were to say add, so now let's I'm just going to do this for a second. Okay. Let's take this and let's make it. Let's add an attribute here. It's fine in the most basic of blocks, but we probably want to do something a little bit more complicated, right? So let's say we had it's okay, we're like, great, this is awesome, but I don't want this anymore. I want that to go away. And I want this to be editable, right? So I want to introduce an attribute here. So we'll do that. Attributes. We're going to give it a message. Is the name of our attribute. We're going to do it'll be the type of string, and then let's give it a default value of hello deprecations. Kev, have you got an external library that updates the markup? Imagine you update an external library that updates the markup. What are you talking about? still not really too bad. So I think you can figure. Oh, because oh no, oh no, this is wrong. That needs to go here. And weird. That didn't give me an error. It didn't yell at me at all. Oh yeah. Like npm install some package then to b3. Well, what sort of package? What do you think we could do there? Give me an example, Kev. Do you have something off the top of your head? Okay, so that is this gonna weird? I can't. I just can't. Sure, is this not building now? 1 second. Something's not right here. What's going on? Yeah, it would be. So, okay. So, let's say we did one of these, and now we don't want this wrapper div at all anymore. I hope this should. I really hope that this triggers. It's not triggering any errors whatsoever. What is going on with that? Maybe you can just figure it out. Oh yeah, that's hard because yeah, that's good. That's going to be hard. I don't know how you'd probably get around that. You'd have to set attributes, and then we're going to get this is going to be, we're going to import I think rich text comes from here. Rich text, yeah. We're going to replace the p tag with the rich text. We'll spread use blocks props along it, and then we'll set value to message. Message. What have I done here? I don't need that anymore. It's going to be on change. All right. All right, so that should give us a rich text field here, and yeah, there we go. This why is that a default? So did I not put a default value? Hello, I did. The message. Okay, so that's actually saving. So that's. Fix that now. So in the save, what we're going to want to do is we want to import rich text, right? And we're going to just return. Oops. Trying to make this more complicated, but it seems to be it seems to have gotten a lot smarter than it used to be. And value. Do we put value in here? I think I do. Value. Oh, come on. Is gonna be attributes message. There we go. Get rid of that. Save this. Get rid of that. Huh. nuts. I don't have my auto formatting goodness in here. Let's get back to my edit. There we go. And my save. Is there an error in this? Oh, yep. There we go. Okay, so now let's see. There we go. Okay, so this is unexpected or invalid content, right? So we've made a lot of changes here. What it's like, so that's by the save, and this is retrieved from the post body. So what I need to do is I need to add that deprecation back in. So if I add this in here, right? I've also, what else have I done? What does it look like? All right, so I need to basically have it return that. So do this, save function. So you can also do it like this, right? You could also call it save, make it, you know, and have it return like this. In fact, I'll just do it in implicit return here, I think, like that. That should work. And then I'll add this in here. I think that should fix it up. Oh, no, it didn't. Oh, I think I just need that. Yeah, there we go. If you have a comments while you need to keep folders and your entire output and all rendering that produces it. Yeah, and you know, if you make changes to attributes too, I think this is the message. I don't know if this is actually saving. Yeah, so now on the front end we should have this is the message of, what is it? Weird, why is it over there? Strange. Anyhow, yeah, so I think now if we were to add, say, like another attribute, I think, I don't know what we call it here. You would have to add this stuff. Pro tip is to write your code in a defensive way to avoid future deprecations. Yeah, the other thing too is you avoid this problem of deprecations entirely when you go with a dynamic block. Now, whether or not you can use a dynamic block is depending on what you're building. You may not be able to use a dynamic block. And basically the difference being that, like, the dynamic block, once you have save here, return null, right, which you can just do by doing that. Once you have that in place, you will also need some other stuff, but oh, that is interesting. So you do need to deprecate. Okay, this is cool. So anyways, if you build a block that is a dynamic block, meaning it has a render.php file and it uses PHP to render the front end, you'll never run into these errors because you're not actually saving markup into the database. You're saving references to the block and references to the block attributes, like here, right? But you won't usually save anything like this. So when you have how would we deprecate that? Let's do a new deprecation const v4, and you don't have to call these v anything. You can, like, this, you know. So this could be that, but I wonder if we need to. I wonder if we need. How would we deprecate that? Now do all machine. there he is. Hyrax Games SDK. Thanks for the chat there. Welcome aboard. I wonder how we do this. Do we just output the attribute maybe? Maybe what we need to do is get rich text, import that in our deprecations, right? And basically steal everything that's in here and have it return. I'm just gonna grab that, right? Have it return this, and then pass v4. Oh, Hyrix Games DK. Well, because you're in a coding stream, so SDK makes more sense than Hyrix Games Dick. Hyrix Games Dick. Come on now. I'm not saying that right. Thank you for hanging out. Welcome aboard. So let's see if this works. Do Donkey Kong? Oh yeah. Do equals Donkey Kong. All right, let's see what this does. So if I refresh this now, do I? Oh, I get all kinds of errors. Use block props is not defined. Of course, it's not defined because I didn't import it because I'm a dumbass. Where is block props? Use. Oh, I also need that. I think I got rid of it. There we go. All right, let's see. Refresh. Refreshification. Oh, it still gave me an error. So is null was returned to the retrieve from the book, but this is the message. So that's not how that works. I wonder if it has to do with the love. Hello, I couldn't call myself Hyrax Games because it's trademark, but what about it's my own trademark? What the heck? Hey man, you know what? Welcome aboard. Thanks for being here. Glad you're here. If I put, I wonder if I put this into the deprecations as well. Can I do? Oh, no, I can't do it that way. Attributes. Nope. And we'll get rid of that. And it'll be message. And will this format it for me? Looking down. And why are you yelling at me? Oh. There we go. So sometimes you have to put the attributes in as well. And I don't know if that's gonna fix it. Yeah, that's what fixed it. Okay, so you put the attributes in so it knows what the attribute is, and then it knows how to use it. What are we breaking today? We're breaking my will to live. No, we're unbreaking. That's we're unbreaking blocks with block deprecation. That's what we're doing here. The ultimate deprecation static to dynamic. Yeah. So what? So there's been a lot of talk lately, and we're talking about like the block editor handbook is undergoing a big overhaul right now. We're doing a lot of work on it. Kind of coming up with new concepts. And one concept that we're starting to talk about is there's always been this sort of like delineation between static versus dynamic blocks, and like never the two will be mixed. Yes, it is HSN Tarek. It is being recorded. Definitely, it'll be on my. It's being recorded to Twitch, so you'll be able to watch the video on demand after I'm done here. But it's also being live. So I'm streaming it live to my YouTube channel. And you can find the channel there, but all this stuff will be uploaded in variations. I'll put the full stream up on YouTube, but also I'll usually do a bit of a cut down and get rid of some of my rambly bits and put that up as a dedicated video as well. So yes. Anyways, what's I saying? What's I talking about? Terrence was here. He'd tell me. Oh, right, yeah. So there's always been this delineation between static versus dynamic block, and ever the two shall mix. But in actuality, maybe there are some use cases where you'd want to have a static fallback, because you can have these things both sort of live in How are they slower? Dynamic blocks are slower by nature, so they couldn't be recommended unless a static block isn't possible. Kevin, I disagree with that statement. How do you find that they're slower? Because you have to parse PHP? Is that what you mean? Because the block, regardless, even though it is static block, it is still being parsed by PHP. It is still being, but not slower unless you I don't know if they take up more in memory. Why would they take up more in memory? Static are pre-rendered and the output is stashed in the DB. Dynamic run logic on the server at runtime. Yeah, but yes and no, because they're not. The output is not pre-rendered. The output is still run through a number of hooks, parse blocks, render blocks, all that sort of stuff. It is still processed by PHP. I have no data to back up what's faster and what isn't. In theory, yeah. If it was straight HTML, like, no, it's not. What do you mean, no, it's not? Kevin and I are fighting. I don't know what he's talking about here. I would love to get some real data, actually. I would love to get real data. Kevin, have you done... I'm not saying this to be like, well, have you done anything? No, I mean, like, legitimately, if you've done any benchmarking, I'd love to see it. I mean, probably maybe at scale, maybe at, like, when you have, like, 1,000 blocks or 100, you know, you might start to see a slowdown, but I don't know, man. I really don't know. I mean... depends on what you're doing, maybe. I don't know. I hate to argue with you, Kevin. I can't stay mad at you. Kevin! If you're talking about a single text string, then it's slower technically. Right, yes. However, it's not just a single text string, though. Every block, the post content, oh, we're talking front end, I think. We're talking front end, because the back end is all... I'm assuming you're talking front end, Kevin, but even this the most basic block in the world, it still needs to be run through PHP, right? Like, we still have to do a database request. We have to take that stuff. We have to run it through the block filters. All of those things. So I don't. It's not immediately faster. I don't think so, but maybe we're probably talking milliseconds here, so I don't know. Everyone's disagreeing with me now. It's happening the same. Yes, it's happening the same for both. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's happening the same. So you're saying that because those... I think I see what you're saying. What is added on? Well, what is added on? Talking about the logic you add as the dev in the render.php file? Is that what you mean? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. In theory, in a block render callback, you don't want to closing require a nanosecond. There's a difference when you mentioned that already. Yeah. You know what, Kevin? Just because I respect you so much as a man and a dancer, really, you're a lovely dancer. I'm just gonna agree with you. Okay. If you turn any logic that adds up, well, yeah. If you're doing like complex queries and stuff inside of your, well, that's the difference between. Yeah. So like, if you're just trying to return a string, if you're just trying to return a quick output, yeah, that's going to be negligible. But the whole point of a dynamic block is you're doing things that can't really be done, that can't be saved or shouldn't be saved, right? So the necessity there, I guess in practicality, yeah, what you're saying, I agree with, yes, because I've now gone full circle. Because you don't really use a dynamic block just to output standard like basic content. You're doing something that's a bit more complicated. You have to be, really, because why else, right? Unless you're just trying to avoid having to deal with deprecations, which is what we're talking about today. Stop yelling at me, Kevin. Stop it. So back to my statement that blocks should be static unless static is impossible. Yes. Now, like you have very complicated blocks, but I personally think that like the problem with static is that any block. So if you have a version 1 of your block, like your code block, which I love, version 1 had a certain markup. Version 2 has different markup. So version 1, unless you go back into every single instance of where that's used and update that post, you won't. The version 2 doesn't trickle down to version 1. Like you have to go in and manually update that. That's a bit of an issue. Like core blocks get away with it because they don't usually make a lot of really big sweeping changes, and when they do, they manage it through deprecation. So yeah, for most specific documentation per specific you need to. Oh, from the perspective you need to put what's best for the entire ecosystem. Yeah, I agree. Where I was kind of going with all this was like, you can have if you have a dynamic block that say generates so there's an example that I just saw recently that Nick Diego did where it's a copyright block. So you have a copyright message that says copyright in whatever the current year is, right? Well, you can't do that in JavaScript because every year your block, well, you could do it in JavaScript, but every year your block work in the whole chat just talking about I don't know, Kev. I worked on there's more to it than just the code being run, right? There's server-side caching, there's lots of things going on that but what I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to recommend dynamic blocks solely. That's what I'm trying to say. There's dynamic rendering and static rendering. That's kind of the delineation now. Is it's not one block versus the other. It's like there's use cases for both. Like so this block that I'm talking about that Nick wrote, right, is it says copyright 2023 and whatever your the title of your blog, right? Well, those things are pulled dynamically, right? But if you turn the dynamic block off, like so if you install a plugin, it introduces a dynamic block. That dynamic block puts the copyright message. If you turn that block off, that plugin off, then that block won't render anymore, right? Because it doesn't have anything saved to the database. So the idea would be that you have a save function and a render.php. So the save function gets saved to the database, but then it's overridden by the render.php. But when you turn that block off, when we turn that block off, then that markup is still sitting in there. That's where I'm going with this. This conversation is like gone crazy. Kevin he's angry. He's just angry at me. Getting date from PHP is probably a single OS opcode. Yeah, it's super minor, super tiny. But you couldn't do it in JavaScript. Like you couldn't put that in your save JS because if you did, every year, like you can use JavaScript date functions, but every year you'd have to do a deprecation and go and update that block, right? So that's an example of like why you couldn't use a static block for this particular thing, right? So, but you could have a dynamic block that falls back to a static block if that dynamic block was disabled. Those should be the exception, not the default. You could create a dynamic deprecation function that detects year change. You could, but I don't know if that would work. I'm not actually sure if that would work. You'd have to. I don't know if that would work. Yeah, Hydrax Games DK. It's not getting the data. It's not getting the data that's the issue. It's the fact that the data is dynamic and it's saved, and then when this data when the save stuff changes, the block doesn't know how to manage it if what's saved doesn't match what's in the markup, like what's in the function that is going to be saved. So anyhow, yeah. So Kevin recommends using nothing but dynamic blocks. That's where we're coming with this. Yeah, it does kind of suck, but it also makes it so there's a lot of benefits to static blocks. There are some downsides. There's downsides to both approaches. So you really have to pick your poison. There's a reason. When I worked at 10up, we built a site. I wasn't on the build team, but I was sort of around the build team, and I had a lot of conversations with the folks who were on that build team, and they did everything with static blocks. And it would be Kevin's got some anger in his pants today. And their deprecation files were massive. They were thousands of lines long because it was just everything was a custom block. Every minor change. No, I'm just messing with you, Kevin. I know you're not angry. Every minor change fired, block validation errors, and so it became very, very difficult. So, and then, especially like in agency world, right? When the client makes a change to something, they want that change to be in perpetuity to all things, right? Like if they have a block that shows their logo, for example, they don't want to have different versions of that block. They're still showing the old logo, right? No, that's not, Kev. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's going to be more of a focus on dynamic blocks. The focus is on understanding the differences between static rendering and dynamic rendering, and that's really where it sits. And there are use cases for both, and there's use cases for using both together. That's what it's going to teach. It's not opinionated in the sense of use this because it's better. It's here's what one does, here's what the other does, and here are the ups and downs of each. If I gave you the wrong impression, then that's on me. That's not what's being taught. That dynamic blocks is the way to go. Yeah. So I'm sorry if I disappointed you. It's like when your parents say I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. It hurts more. You have to. This is worse. You should be. This is worse, but if you have to use it, then here's how. Well, no, because that is the opposite level type of opinion that you did not like. That didn't make any sense. But like you're pro static, so saying that dynamic is the way to go is a problem. But people, I myself included, are pro dynamic, so saying static is not the way to go in my opinion. But I think what we need to do. Oh, who is that? Hydrac Games, not SDK. Hydrac Games, Deek. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate you, man. You can handle. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not trying to tell you how to think, Kevin. I'm just telling you what you think is wrong and stupid. HSN Direct, thanks for the follow. Ever hear of WP themes and plugins? Have I ever heard of WordPress themes and plugins? Or is it a brand? I'm going to call you SDK from now on. That's it. I'm sorry. I can't keep saying I keep saying Hydrax, which is also wrong. Hyrax Games DK. I'm gonna call you Drax. Are WP plugins known for speeding up sites? Are WordPress plugins known for speeding up sites? They are not. They are not known for speeding up sites. Lord Coffee Bean the Third. Kevin, I feel like we're hitting a turning point in our friendship. I don't know what's going on here. The more code you load on a site, the slower it's going to get, period. I'm with you. So soon we will see the same in the block dev world. Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. Badly coded plugins, blocks, all that sort of stuff are going to be slow, right? If you don't know the trade-offs, you know, if you're making a database query in one block and not making a database query in another block, the block that makes the database query is going to be slower. It's just inherent. Like, so everyone using dynamic blocks might be slower. I personally haven't seen that be an issue, but I'm also not really in the agency world anymore, and I don't work on a lot of sites at scale, right? And that's where this is going to be a problem. It's where it's going to be at extreme top end scale, where we're talking about, like, you know, time.com or like Rolling Stone magazine, or like the really, really heavy sites that take a ton of traffic, right? Those are critical that things are developed in a certain way, and they have multiple layers of caching and all that sort of stuff. That's where you're going to see, like, you know, a lot of problems, or on really poor hosts that can't handle it, right? So documentation should be designed for the worst effects. Well, Kevin, I mean, everything that's being done for the block editor handbook is being done in GitHub. We'd love your input. The idea is that we're talking about the fundamentals of block development, the parts of the block, what dynamic rendering is versus static rendering, and that's it, right? If grandma's block takes 2 extras, well, yeah, exactly. Like if grandma's blog takes 2 extras, yeah. I don't know, man. I think we're just gonna have to agree to disagree on which version is better. I actually don't. I used to have strong opinions. I don't have as strong opinions about it anymore. It's very much it's all based on what you're trying to do and what's the best tool for the job. And I think documentation's role there is to explain the pros and cons to any approach to anything, right? Like, and, you know, hopefully educate the developer, so that they can make the right decision for what they're trying to do, right? Well, yeah, most aren't, but I mean, we can't save people from themselves. You can't. If you're gonna write bad, non-performant, security, like vulnerable code that it's just crap, you can do that. It's an open source project, right? You can do whatever you want. Well, docs can tell. Well, yeah, the docs do say, you know, don't make plus, you know, like there's I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard to say do things a certain way. It's hard to say that, especially like in an open source environment, right? Like there's best practices. There's lots of companies that have best practices out there. Like, you know, there's consensus in the community on certain things. But I don't know if the WordPress documentation has ever really gone into like, do this but don't do this. It's always been, this is how this works. You know, this is how a thing works. If you want to do something, this is what you can do. Maybe you're right. Maybe it needs to be a bit more opinionated. I think that's a big shift in the tone of it, though. Like, one thing that I think is crazy is the -1, you know, post per page -1, which gives you all the posts, which prior to working on large sites was never an issue for me, ever. Like, I never ran into problems, right? But like, you have a site that's got 1 million posts and you hit -1, you're going to take that site down. Because for those that don't know, when you do a query in WordPress, you can say post per page. You can say 10, you can say 100, you can say 1,000. But if you say -1, it basically says give me everything, and that could be possibly a massive query, right? But there are places in the block editor where they do that, and it's not, you know, really been a problem. And if it is a problem, it gets mitigated in other ways, really. So I'm not saying that that's a good thing, but I just mean I don't know where best practices lie, because there's best practices for different types of code. Like what's your best practice for like a publishing site, or best practice for a WooCommerce site, or those best practices could be different. So it's hard to give a recommendation on how you should do a thing without knowing what the thing is that you're doing. I don't. That's my opinion on it. If Kevin would just stop yelling at me, I feel defeated. Kevin! It's good, Kevin. You're the best. Who else is hanging out here? Well, I'm talking about one specific thing. Yes, I know you're talking about one specific thing, but people aren't necessarily like, you're saying you should use static blocks. Great. Unless you can. Right. But what's the definition of can't? Right? You can use static blocks for a lot of things. You can use JavaScript to retrieve your, like, I don't know. I know we're just talking, Kevin. I'm just I don't know. I think the first step is getting better documentation and explaining things better, so concepts are understood. I think not understanding a concept and not being able to find what you're looking for, right, is the top priority. Like, having documentation where people can find what they need and they understand the concepts. That's the most important thing, because if people don't understand the concepts, telling them what they should do or how they should apply those concepts makes no sense, in my opinion. Like, if you've never driven a car, trying to tell somebody how to drive like an F1 race car, it doesn't make any sense, right? Like, or the best way to drive your car if you can't drive a car, it doesn't make any sense to someone. This is a horrible analogy, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. So that's where it's starting. We're starting with an overhaul of the documentation to make sure that people understand the concepts behind block development, and then maybe, and I think it's worth a conversation, and you can definitely bring it up. I have to. Oops. There's it's in GitHub. It's in our GitHub here. Gutenberg. See if I can find it in a million issues. Well, I'm never gonna find it. Developer documentation. No, this is what I want. Just 200 issues in there. Yeah. So it's some of these. There's a whole bunch of these. Where can I find block JSON? This is specifically the one that we're talking about here. It is post block. No, you couldn't. No, like, that's a perfect example of why you would want to use a dynamic block. Like, when I first heard of dynamic blocks, it was always about what are you trying to get, like what are you trying to retrieve, right? So it was less about it made total sense. Well, if you need something that has to hit the database, that it needs to be a dynamic block, because you have to dynamically hit that or retrieve that data. And I think that concept kind of got a bit like obfuscated with that's not the right word, but confused with the rendering, like how it's rendered. So it's rendered dynamically or it's rendered statically. But maybe it should be more about the content is static or the content is dynamic. And that's kind of it. So this is the thing. So I would encourage you, Cav, to get in here and chat with on this. Oh, this is the actual issue. Yeah, the name, like the naming is hard. You know that. Like this new block hooks thing that just got put out there. I think it's a great idea, but it's confusing. So how many different ways can we use hooks in Gutenberg or in WordPress, right? Anyways, we got way off topic here, but I feel like it was a good chat, even though Kevin's all mad at me now. So, does everyone get deprecations? Pretty straightforward. Kev, you must have some pretty wild deprecations in your code block, bro. Well, I'll know you're. I know you're not mad, Kev. Kev, you're going to Taipei, right? This is off topic. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if you build your blocks, I think if you build your blocks with that in mind, then I think you can avoid it. I think it's when the changes are maybe out of your control. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. So if you design them in a way so you don't need deprecations, then this becomes a moot point. I hate using deprecations. Hate it. So, oh, nice. Just bought the ticket. I have a ticket. I don't know if I'm going yet. I only had to use it twice in 60 blocks. Yeah, I mean, it's if it's built in such a way, or if you have a very purpose-built block, you may not ever need to use this. Well, this becomes super important when you're changing markup all the time. Like, again, back to my agency example. You know, client sees something, they don't like it, and all of a sudden you've got all your markup changing. So you have to account for that. You know, the example of the logo block and being able to have all instances of that block be updated. That's a dynamic block thing. But I don't know. Maybe there is some explorations that can be done to kind of get those two things closer together, right? Yeah. Kev, I really like your idea of advocating for creating better error messages for this. I think that would be very cool. At least a way to, like, it'd be nice if you could define it in your block. Yeah. You know what? There's something by 10 up block updater. Convert to blocks. Was that it? Or maybe that's what it was. Yeah, Darshan. Okay. This is not what I was thinking of. But Darshan, if Darshan ever sees this, he's amazing, and I miss you, Darshan. You're phenomenal. I used to work with him at 10 Up. He's one of the best engineers I've ever worked with in my life. The guy's brilliant. He's like almost as good as Kevin, but he's phenomenal. Anyways, he wrote this thing that basically converted all your static content into blocks, and he's just a brilliant dude. Brilliant dude. But I don't think that's what you're looking for. I don't think that's what you're looking for. So anyhow, I have yet to hear a good solution. Hear of a good solution. So Kevin, if you wrote that solution, you'd make $1 million. It needs to render every block on every page. Yeah, basically, you could do it in like a CLI script. You could do a really massive CLI script probably to do it, like a command that just loads WordPress, enables your block, and then does you'd have to loop through every single post and check for any instances of that block, which is crazy. I don't know if there's a way of determining just from the block post. I can't. Oh, WebAssembly runtime. Oh Lord, yeah, you do, don't you? Do you though? What's the WebAssembly runtime doing? Like, what's it? I'm sure you thought of this, but could you instead of like, could you try to migrate it when it's in this state, like when it's in the database, like or where. Oh, is that the LUP? Because you were offended by that statement? Are you saying I shouldn't? I don't even know what that is supposed to be doing. Maybe that. I think that's there's no. Oh, please follow me on. Oh, because you saw that and they went to tell everyone else what they thought. Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you were like, how dare you? All right, fine. Well, I appreciate you nonetheless. I appreciate you. Cool. Well, this is kind of just turned into a chat. I realize I need to do like a chatting window. I don't have a chat window. It's just everyone looking at my horrible code right here. He unfollows all the time. I know. He gets mad at me and unfollows. And he follows me again. But if you look down in the bottom of my screen right here, oh, you can't see it. Over here, can't even find my Cav is my latest sub, so there you go. Anyways, more alerts, yeah. For the code block it do. It uses VS Code to parse and tokenize. Huh. Yeah, you'd probably have to have. Yeah, I don't know. You're the only sub. You son of a bitch. Are you the only sub? Let's look. I'm not even gonna show you behind the scenes here. Kevin. Create a dashboard. What do I got? Stream manager. I've got 5 subscribers. Thank you very much. 5, but I do appreciate all 5 of you. All right, what are we talking about here? What's going on? 16. Oh, is anyone here from the meetup group? Because if you are, I'd love to hang out. Soon you can quit your job and stream full time. That's right. That's right. If I can live on $60 every 90 days, I will definitely quit my job, stream full time. Can you imagine me doing this full time, Kev? You would hate it. Is there even, well, no, not for this, but there is one. Oh, good. HSN Tarek. If I streamed every dude, yeah, maybe. There is not a meetup group for me specifically, but there is a meetup group for WordPress that I'm part of, and so my streams go on there. And I'd highly recommend checking it out. This is it here. There's a lot of really great WordPress content, not just me. Not that I'm great WordPress content, but there is actually good WordPress content. But you can see a lot of this stuff. You can see my streams on there every month. You can also see we have a lot of other things going on. We have a developer hours next week that you might want to have a look at. I'm going to be helping out my good friend Nick, doing that. Just talking about how to extend core blocks and things like that. So that's a good one to come and check out. And we'll be doing one called Kevin's favorite thing, dynamic blocks, Kevin, ! That'll be coming up soon. Yeah. So if you're not a member, I go and get on there, because there's a lot of the Learn team does some really, really great stuff. Let's see what's going up here. Jonathan Bossinger does some really, really great things. There's things in different languages, all kinds of stuff. Like there's this one, scripts package, that's coming up. That's a good one to take a look at. Oh, there's lots of things. Anyways, highly recommend having a look at that. Well, I don't really have much else to go over. I know it's Thanksgiving. I don't know if anyone's actually here when even though they're on holiday today, but they are. I appreciate you. But does anyone want to chat about anything? Is there anything else WordPress-wise? Doesn't have to be block deprecations. I'm going to do a little shameful self-promotion. My advanced query loop plugin. How do we do it now? We got over 300 installs. I'm so excited for that. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Please let me know if you like it, or if you hate it, or if you want to, need any features. Not sure. Who that? Oh, Earl Davis, thanks for the follow. I am not sure because I haven't heard back about my submissions yet, and I need to like clear it with my company whether I can go. I really hope I can go. I really think it's important that we the developer advocates who are sort of officially sponsored by the project that we're there, so we can chat with people and we can have a presence and get to know that side of the world a little bit better. I really well, Kevin, thank you, and I need you, Kevin. I need you there. I just think it's super important. I don't think that there's a person on my team or in Automatic in the .org division that would disagree with that statement. I think we need to have as much good representation there as we can. Last year was amazing. It was. Oh no, I'm not doing that. Kevin. I was there last year. I'm hoping to go this year too. I'm hoping to do. I usually do a couple of them. I almost always try to go to Europe and Asia. US usually it's smaller, so some of my other teammates are going there. Yeah, for sure. If you're going to Turin or Torino or Turin or whatever, that would be great. Just wear a T-shirt that says "I am the LUP," and then I'll know who to look for. I submitted the Block Developers Cookbook as a workshop for WordCamp Asia, so I'm hoping that gets picked up, because if it does, I'm going to have stickers and hopefully a chef hat. One chef hat for the best question or the most whatever. I'm gonna have prizes. It's gonna be a good thing. I'm thinking about putting "What the Deuce" on the chef's hat, but I don't know what the best idea is. Anyways, I have all these plans and they'll never happen, of course. But anyways, but WordCamp Asia just WordCamp Europe just opened its call for speakers, I believe. So if you're interested, get it done. Get some speaking stuff. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, Kev, you should apply to speak. Why have you applied to speak at WordCamp Asia? Well, the thing's done now, but you should definitely do that. I encourage everyone to at least apply to any conference. It's fun. It's a good time. It's amazing how supportive and fun it is. Like, I don't really like doing that. But Kevin, I think you'd be good at it. I think you have you have a ton of experience, and the stuff that you guys are doing is pretty cool. I don't see, workshops. Workshops are also a really good thing. I'm more partial to workshops now than I am to actually speaking. I'm comfortable doing both, but I find workshops are a bit more interactive, and you get to kind of like meet people more and really get to see what people who are actually building things are dealing with, which is really good. It's good for what I do, anyways. So yeah. Cool. I want to try something. Does this work? Oh, it worked. Okay. Somebody want to type this? Hide. Does this work? Well, that didn't work. Yeah, Cav, you should do a block on dynamic. You should do a block on dynamic talks. That's what you should do. Oh, is this stupid thing not working again? I don't know. My bot is. I should just like get someone who knows how to write proper code to do the bot. There, now it works. Ridiculous. I think that's why my follows and stuff weren't happening. Anyways. Oh yeah? Which one was that? Where did you Yeah, sure. Bucharest, nice. Kev, drop the link. We'll take a look. Nice. What was your talk on? Is it on WordPress.tv? Oh my God. .tv. Let's have a look. Bucharest. Before and beyond. It's called Before and oh my God, it's right there. It's right here. Andre. Andre? My. Is that? Can you guys hear that? Okay. Well, let's just do this. Awesome. Oh, my headphones are just dying on me here. 2019. Well, that's great. Sorry, my headphones are crackling, so I don't know if that's don't be shy. This is awesome. Everyone should do this. This is you want to see bad? Hold on. This is the worst one. This was my first talk ever, and it's horrible. Can't really hear it. Yeah, I'm not really. I don't think I'm really set up to do it properly. But this one is talking about going to like getting props, and it was not a good talk. My thing. 2015. There we go. On block fills? No, it was not. It was on like getting my first contributor props to WordPress core. Not even Gutenberg. Not even gonna link that. You can find it if you want it. It's horrible, but yeah. The people were very scared of Gutenberg. They didn't know what happened. I mean, I was working at one of the top agencies of the planet, when our WordPress agencies at the time, and it was like, what are we gonna do now? It's terrifying. Sorry, Kev, what am I looking up again? Pattern CSS. WordPress pattern CSS. Let's see. Where? I don't see anything. Look for the, oh, whoa, that is a majestic lion. Interesting. This is cool. Let me take a look at that. That's awesome. Yeah, that's fun. That's very cool. I held a workshop and so many people building their first block. At that point, it would have been so rough too, building blocks. Like, I remember that. Add custom CSS to any block and pattern, including reducible patterns too. This plugin adds a panel on every block, additional CSS, and blah, 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 blah. Use block to target the current block instead. Directly instead of children. Create usable patterns to make your starting points for your blocks. Use important sparingly. Well, that's really cool, Kev. I'm going to show this to Justin Hadlock, because he's doing all kinds of theme stuff. This is pretty cool. So if you, how does this work? So you got some stuff going on in here, right? Like there's some processing, I'm assuming, right? Scope, files, some blocks, and parents of artifact. It's fast, CSS defined, optimized in the browser. So we're gonna get approved in .org maybe once. What was the holdup? Because you're basically, was there a lot of back and forth, or were they just slow? Yeah, the queues are really long. Well, they just went through a bit of a changing of the guard there, so they don't have as many hands on deck to do that. But there's they don't approve editor type blocks. Interesting. So blocks that because it's not introducing a block specifically, it's like an extension for the editor. That's the problem that they have? I think that we're in sort of like a brave new world here with plugins that introduce non-block stuff, right? Blockstat, CSS, yeah, that's true. Sometimes it's not. Well, is this a block? So yeah. So it's weird. So they don't like plugins for the block editor that just do things via filters, which is strange because like 95% of the plugins pre-Gutenberg, that's what they did. They leveraged filters to do a bunch of things, added things to the admin, added things to the front end. It's yeah, interesting. Well, I think that's going to change. It's going to have to change because you know, yeah, exactly. Like, is it because it adds information to blocks that may or may not be there? Like that I could see there being a bit of a concern for like plugin lock-in. Same with a theme lock-in. Like themes provide a lot of options, and then once you've kind of gone down that road far enough, you're kind of stuck with that theme. That you know the theme lock-in issue. You can't change themes because it'll break your site. I can see this maybe being in that sort of thing a little bit. I mean, it depends on how much you use it and all that stuff. Not a lot of plugins that use copy arbitrary. Oh yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. Yeah, you'll never get a plugin. Most times, there's plugins that are in there now that do it, but most plugin, like, if I was to, you know, yeah, if you were to introduce a plugin that just arbitrarily ran code, that's a big security issue. Big old security issue. Cool. Well, Kevin, this is really neat. I'm gonna play around with it. But I think I'm gonna call it because it's Thanksgiving for y'all Americans. I'm in Canada, by the way, so we just get your Black Friday. We get the Black Friday deals. Yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna let y'all go. But thanks so much for hanging out with me. Thanks, Kevin, for arguing with me, like a divorced couple. And I will see you all next week, and then December is going to be kind of all over the place. I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to be streaming like once. I'm going away for a work thing, and then I'm going to take a couple weeks off for Christmas and all that stuff. So anyways, I will be chatting at you soon, and go and check out The Lup on WordPress.tv. Andre, am I saying that right? Judging by the silence, I'm saying that right. So Andre, yes, okay. Go. Thank you for sharing that, and don't be shy. It's awesome that you did that. We need more people doing that. No, especially people named Kevin, or anyone really. And yeah, I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm gonna just go ahead and see if is anyone else streaming right now. Not really. All right. Well, I'm gonna say goodbye, but thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you all later.